Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 39. I'm John Cooney, here to talk to you about comics released the 31st of October 2012. Happy Halloween, everybody. We'll begin with my first five, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, starting with, at number 1, Wolverine and the X-Men number 19. Issue 18 left us with the death of a student that impacted me more than the supposedly more significant death in the X-Men universe at the conclusion of AvX, and I know I'm not the only one. On a recent conference call while discussing the title in the context of the Marvel Now initiative, series writer Jason Aaron said, quote, "I feel very thankful and lucky that I've gotten to do an offbeat X-Men book like this. This is our first Marvel Now issue, issue 19, so if anything, we're trying to get back to where we were before AvX madness. It picks up right after the events of 18. There was a lot of angry people on the internet, which was great. It made my day." Series artist Nick Bradshaw added that it was a great issue to jump into. Quote, "I got to draw a lot of awesome characters," he said. "It's a fun issue because we're peppering what comes up in the next story arc. As an artist, I had a blast. We've got some really cool situations coming up that we allude to in this issue," close quote. Writer Jason Aaron responded, quote, "This issue sets up everything to come for the bulk of the next year of the book. It's one of those proverbial great jumping on points, but obviously the stuff at the end of 18 is going to seed the stuff that carries into next year," close quote. And number 2, we've got Ultimate Comics Spider-Man number 16.1. Now, these .1 issues are also designed to be jumping on points for new readers. And I talked a little bit about Ultimate Comics last week and how the Divided We Fall and United We Stand crossover events have helped coalesce the previously fragmented and independent stories that are in the Ultimate line. And it's had a significant impact on Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man. Series writer Brian Michael Bendis says, quote, "He'll have to decide on his own if he's ready or where he belongs in the universe. We're going to have some real, old-fashioned, but very rare for the Ultimate Universe, continuity. The books are going to touch upon each other, which is something I've always wanted, but never got to do with Mark Miller and Brian Hitch because of their scheduling. But Sam Humphries and the guys over at Ultimate Comics Ultimates have made it very easy to bounce Miles back and forth a little bit to really discover his place in the world of superheroes. After that, starting in our very cool Ultimate Comics Spider-Man 16.1, an issue that David Marquez is drawing, we're going to be introducing a brand new Ultimate Venom. That'll lead into issue 19, which will be the return of artist Sarah Pichelli to Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, and it's a big Miles versus the symbiote issue. The first very big Spider-Man villain that Miles has had to deal with," close quote. And number 3, we've got Superman Earth 1 Volume 2 hardcover. Now granted, this is a graphic novel as opposed to the regular issues I have in the rest of the first 5, but this was the best book by DC this week, with a light schedule and no Death of the Family or Before Watchmen releases this week. This 136-page hardcover is the sequel to the best-selling Superman Earth 1 graphic novel by J. Michael Straczynski, who said, quote, "The overwhelming success of Volume 1 of Superman Earth 1, 37 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list for graphic novels, meant that we had to ensure that Volume 2 was even better. Thematically, if Volume 1 was about Clark figuring out where he belongs, then Volume 2 is about Superman trying to figure out where he belongs in all this, even as the world does the same at their end. How far can he push his power before he becomes something other than what he intends to become? In the midst of all this, Clark gets his first apartment, becoming entangled with a beautiful woman next door. Lois starts trying to figure out what it is about Clark that doesn't add up, and a new and terrifyingly strong version of the parasite is born from what was previously a serial killer. Volume 2 is about power, its use and abuse, and its place in the world to be used for good or for evil," close quote. At number 4, I've got Ultimate Comics X-Men number 18. This is the conclusion of the X-Men arc of the United We Stand crossover, and series writer Brian Wood says, quote, "There are some huge things coming up at the end of United We Stand, but Kitty and the crew take on Stryker forces head-on, insurgent style, revolutionary style. She's committed to putting an end to the abuses, the genocide really, of the mutant species, that nothing's going to stand in her way. The results of that battle, that's what I'm trying to keep quiet about." As far as the future of the book, he says, quote, "Karen Grant/Jean Grey and the SEAR will return in the future, and an incredibly complex and touching new relationship will form between the mutant nation and the government of the U.S., something that'll drive the story post-event. That's all vague, I know, but the reality of what I'm doing is pretty huge and paradigm shifting, something that could never happen in 616. I guess that's the beauty of the Ultimate books. The next chapter in this book is something I'm planning out for the long haul, and will take the mutants to a place they've never been before. After reading Nick's run and writing the issues I have so far, I'm tired of always seeing them beaten down and marginalized. Time to give the mutants a little glory." Close quote. And at number 5, I've got X-Men Legacy number 275, which is the final issue. Of course, it's a little specious calling these final issues when the books are restarting with new number 1 issues, but at least we know that they should wrap up the storyline before the Marvel Now relaunch. In this case, we know that last issue Magneto made Rogue a daunting offer, and in this final issue, Rogue faces the repercussions of her decision. Series writer Christus Gage said, quote, "I feel good about how Rogue's character journey is wrapped up. Even before I knew the end of the series would be issue number 275, I had planned to end the focus on her with that issue because I felt like we would be coming to the natural end of the road Mike Carey started her on. My main regret with Legacy is that had the series continued as is, I would have turned the focus to the supporting characters in the book. But as it became clear that there would be a relaunch, I sort of let the supporting characters fall by the wayside because I didn't want to start things I couldn't finish." Close quote. And rounding out the top 10 this week, we have at number 6, A+X number 1. Get ready for action-packed stories featuring team-ups from your favorite Marvel heroes every month. First, a story where Wolverine and Hulk come together, and then Captain America and Cable meet up. But will each partner's combined strength be enough? At number 7, we've got AvX Consequences number 4. Another classified solicit doesn't give us much information, but previews released this week indicate an Iron Man-Cyclops confrontation. At number 8, we've got Batgirl Annual number 1. Batgirl's on the hunt for Catwoman, but who's after Batgirl? It's the first being between Batgirl and Catwoman in the New 52, plus the talent that Barbara faced during the Night of the Owls is back for revenge. At number 9, we've got Avenging Spider-Man Annual number 1. It's a two-fisted shot of avenging action as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man goes toe-to-toe with the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing. And at number 10, from Image Comics, we've got Fatale number 9. Fatale's second arc, The Devil's Business, rushes towards its savage conclusion as Joe comes out of hiding, ready to confront the reborn Bishop as his cultists creep around the 1970s Hollywood searching for her and her new lover. For the best of the rest this week from DC Comics, as I mentioned, not much released this week. We've got Action Comics Annual number 1, The Secrets of the Missing 5 Years Between When Clark Kent Came to Metropolis and the Present Day continue to be revealed. In the wake of Brainiac's attack on Metropolis, Superman faces his first Earthborn villain, the Kryptonite Man. We've also got Aquaman number 13, the finale of The Others. Aquaman pushed to the breaking point. Who is Black Manta working for? And we've got Phantom Lady number 3 of 4. Phantom Lady and Dollman face the frenzied fury of Funerella. Can the newly formed duo stand a chance against the villain's strange powers? From Marvel this week, we've got Captain Marvel number 6, A Battle Through Time, the shocking conclusion, guest appearance by classic Captain Marvel, Marvel, and an all-new Captain Marvel. We've also got last issues for the Mighty Thor number 22, End of an Era, Everything Burns Aftermath, the final issue. After all the blood and thunder that rocked the Nine Realms, someone has to pay. It'll probably be Thor, the only Asgardian brave enough to face the Doom Ring. Who dares judge a god? Just wait to see who shows up. And we've got New Mutants number 50 final issue. It's time to raise a glass to Danny Moonstar, Cypher, Warlock, Sunspot, and X-Men in the series-ending issue. From IDW, we've got Doctor Who number 2. By the way, my youngest son is going out as the 10th Doctor Who, David Tennant, for Halloween tonight. A shadow being has emerged from a machine used to view alternate realities and is stealing time from those he touches in order to become real. Can the Doctor save the hypothetical gentleman's latest victim? Also from IDW, we've got Rocketeer, Cargo of Doom number 3. The mysterious cargo is finally revealed and Cliff will discover what demons will be descending on the City of Angels. It's all action as the Rocketeer must rise to the challenge, the likes of which he's never before faced. Meanwhile, what exactly is Peavy's niece up to, and are her intentions as innocent as they seem? We've also got a couple of off-the-wall books this week. Out from Moonstone, Buckaroo Banzai number 2, The Man, the Marvel, the Human Achievement is back. From the cult movie starring Peter Weller, John Lithgow, Ellen Barkin, Christopher Lloyd, and Jeff Goldblum, the creators and filmmakers are telling new stories. Your favorite neurosurgeon slash rockstar slash adventurer returns along with his Hong Kong Cavaliers for an adventure where Death's Head Tank Squad lurks in suburbia, talking bouncer robots attack, expensive love wants to erupt, and lectoids run with scissors and then shotguns. the world may never be the same. Also from New England Comics, we've got the Tick number 101, Tick meets Madman. In a blockbuster follow-up to last issue's Tick Invincible crossover, the Tick and Orson, the Golden Age Arthur, set out to discover if the modern Arthur is well and truly dead. Orson's mysterious moth suit demonstrates another of its eerie powers, and when an electrical eruption from it manages to teleport Frank and Stein and Dr. Flem from Madman's world into the Tick's universe, where they join forces to confront the challenge of the Mind King and his mute but malevolent minions. Also out in trades this week, we've got Secret Avengers, Run the Mission, Don't Get Seen, Save the World trade paperback. 1 visionary writer, 6 superstar artists, 6 missions, 6 chances to save the world, no time to lose, and no one will ever know unless they lose. This title collects Secret Avengers number 16 to 21. And from IDW, we've got G.I.Joe, the Complete Collection, Volume 1 hardcover. This is the first in a prestige set of G.I.Joe reprinting that presents the full run of the original A Real American Hero and Special Missions tales, placed in the proper reading order and collected in a handsome hardcover volume. This Volume 1 is 300 pages, but I couldn't find out what issues it collects specifically. But I know there's a great demand for this and a lot of talk about what the potential for this series is going to be. Well, that's it for me this week. A pretty light week on the 5th Wednesday of the month, but still other books that I didn't get a chance to cover, so be sure to check out what's available this week at your local comic book shop and see if there's other books that you're interested in. Let me know if there's any that I'm missing that you'd like for me to cover in these reviews. You can check with me at my comic book blog, he'sgotissues.com. We're also a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network, so you can find us there as well. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.